Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm so pleased you're joining us for today's Spotlight. I'm Tanya Gandamihaja. I'm HR Director here at BAE Systems. I joined BAE Systems in August 2021, and it has been such a wonderful journey so far. And before that, I'd spent 23 years in the energy industry. So that's enough about me. As for what we do here at BAE Systems, in short, we protect national security and people, and we keep critical information and infrastructure secure. And one of our key ambitions is to be recognized as the leading employer in the defense and security sectors for valuing diversity, equity, and inclusion. So why are we here today? Well, I'm sure you're aware that today is International Women's Day, and this year's theme is Embrace Equity. Equity is about recognizing that we don't all start from the same place. At BAE Systems, we're all responsible for creating an environment where we're free to be ourselves and give our best. That means removing barriers, calling out inappropriate behaviors, and making everybody feel welcome. Creating equal opportunities isn't always about treating everyone the same. We recognize that some colleagues need more support than others to help them be their best. In today's Spotlight, I'll be chatting to some colleagues who are all at different stages in their careers. We've had lots of different experiences and our own thoughts on what each of us need to be successful as individuals and women at work. At the end of the Spotlight, I hope we've lifted the lid a bit on what it's really like to be a woman working at BAE Systems and the welcome you could expect if you were to join us. But first things first, let's get cracking and meet today's Spotlight guests. So here with me today are Jo, Megan, and Grace, who are going to introduce themselves and tell us a little more about them.
Hi, I'm Jo Wood. I'm the Group Engineering Director and I'm also the Group Transformation Director. I've been at BAE about 8 years, and before that I've had about 20 years in the defence industry.
I'm Megan. I'm a systems engineer graduate in submarines and in service. So I've been here since June of last year, so about a third of the way through my graduate scheme.
I'm Grace. I'm based at Broad Oak under Products and Training Services Manufacturing. I've recently come out of the business admin scheme. I have exited as a team lead for Archfish, for the people that build the Archfish on the shop floor, and I also feed into production engineering.
So tell me, what was it that attracted you initially to BAE Systems?
Initially, I joined as the grad scheme, just like you did. I joined back in 2001. I was here for a few years. And I joined because I'd always grown up with my family in the defence industry, and BAE was the big name in the UK for defence. So I joined and had a fantastic time, left and went to other defence companies, but rejoined, honestly, just for the sheer scale of BAE and the opportunities that you have throughout the global enterprise in defence here.
Are you happy you came back?
Definitely. Yeah.
I joined for really similar reasons to Jo, actually. I've got a family history in engineering and in defence. And coming out of university, I really wanted to look for a graduate scheme and in a big company that would offer me lots of opportunities, which I think BAE Systems really is. I mean, you can do so much without ever leaving one company. It's such great opportunities here.
Excellent. And tell me a bit about the support network that you found in BAE Systems. How has that been for you?
From my perspective, it's been amazing. My manager, early careers, the people I've networked with, people I've had placements with, they're still, even though I've exited the scheme, still my support little system now. They've been really good from all the way to kind of the head of manufacturing down to, again, like early careers. I've had support with anything that I've needed to raise. It's been a really good experience.
Excellent.
Yeah, similar with the graduate scheme is such a great support network. Just getting random calls in the week from some of the early careers leads, just asking how things are going, if I need anything. And with being in a graduate cohort, it's been really great as well. I almost started between intakes and was really encouraged to just wait a bit and start with a big group of people, which I'm really glad I did because I made really good connections early on and a really good support network.
What about you, Jo?
So when I was on the grad scheme and in my early career, exactly the same. You know, I was assigned buddies, I was assigned mentors and went through. Rejoining the second time, it was a different kind of support, but definitely still a support there. So for things like training courses that I went on with people from across all the different business areas, being able to build, a network of trusted people who weren't working with you day to day, but that you could still reach out to, is really invaluable. And still mentorship. I've still got mentors in the business and out of the business today, across all areas of BAE systems, which I really appreciate.
Excellent. That's very good to hear. What about flexible working? So coming out of COVID, we find that our employees, they want different things than pre-COVID. And as a company, we have been providing some flexibility. How has that affected the way you've worked?
For me, it's my personal choice. I tend to come into the office 2 days a week now. I'm not required to. I'm in a head office role, so I don't physically need to be on a site building equipment as I know some people do. We manage it very well as a team to make sure that team days are on days and hours when the entire team is together, so that people who work flexibly aren't excluded from team events and still have an understanding of what's happening across the business. I really enjoy the mix of being able to be at home, being able to take the kids to school a couple of days a week, being able to, be there for assemblies and stuff when I need to, but also still coming into the office when I need a bit of a break from half term last week and to get away from them and do work in silence, and being able to, come into meetings and see people and see my colleagues and interact.
Excellent. What about you, Megan?
And yeah, I was, as having started after COVID, I think being able to come into the office quite a lot has really helped me. Just starting in a new team where I don't know many people. Luckily, I'm in a team where they're on site a lot, and a lot of them at the same site as me, which is really great for building those connections. But I think the way things were set up during COVID, with daily Skype meetings to still get those interactions, has also been really good. So I found it's been a great balance so far.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed the flexibility. I think, I know from manufacturing's perspective, we are all on the shop floor building the equipment, so we are those people. But I know that they've really enjoyed having the flexibility. I know I have as well from my perspective. So instead of kind of coming in for those sharp 6 o'clock in the mornings, they've been able to have that agility plus, which has really supported them.
Excellent. So the technology that we have here in BAE Systems and the products that we make are just amazing. What responsibilities have you had where you've really been able to sink your teeth into them, and what have you really enjoyed?
I guess for me, I've spent quite a time in the naval ships part of the business, where we do such amazing things, not only with the ships that we have, like the Type 26, the Queen Elizabeth, the River class batches, all those amazing ships, but also with the combat systems that we put onto them. It really is staggering when you think, an engineer day to day, just sitting, tapping away at a computer. But then when you take a step back and go, oh my goodness, that's what that was towards. It really is staggering. And now, obviously, being able to step back in a head office role and see the breadth of what we do, it is astounding. And we do something in BAE Systems called the Chairman's Awards, where we sit back once a year and really look at the achievements that we've had. And I always get involved in that purely because, for that reason, I love being able to see the breadth of what we've done, both in terms of innovation and in terms of sustainability, and in terms of, how we really go about making our products the best that we can be. And yeah, it's truly staggering when you think we go from things like, oyster farming, which you wouldn't think would be something BAE would do for sustainability in the Chesapeake River, to, creating huge warships or fighter planes. It's quite staggering, isn't it?
Yeah. Thank you, Jill.
So straight away coming into my grad scheme, I was just able to get involved with stuff that was going on while still seeing all of the new projects coming out, which has been really great. And also with stretch projects that I've been able to get involved with, it's really allowed me to sort of come out of just what my team do and see some of this new technology coming about as well.
Can you explain a bit about the stretch project? What is that?
So as graduates and apprentices, we're able to sort of apply to different projects across the business through like emerging technologies or maybe something to do with like STEM outreach. And they just sort of give us like a little insight into something else in the company while getting like different skills under our belts. Just been really exciting to do.
So it's no secret that our industry have a perception of being very male dominated. we have an ambition in BAE Systems whereby by 2030 we want 30% of our workforce to be women. What's your personal experiences and thoughts on where we are now, and whether you've experienced any initiatives that will help us meet these ambitions?
I know from within my area, manufacturing is usually a male-dominated area, but I haven't ever been made to feel any different. I get involved in the same things that the other people do. So I think from my experience, it's been really positive, both at the dockyard and being at Bordeaux.
I found it quite similar. I'm in engineering. There does seem to be a lot less females in general. But yeah, I haven't really been made to feel that I'm any different or any less reason to be there. I studied aerospace engineering at university, and that was also very male dominated. I think I was one of 2 women in the final year. So it's sort of something that I expected, but actually was really positively surprised by all the networks that are there just put in place and all the support. A really great initiative that I've been able to get involved with is the monthly coffee chat set up by the Gender Equity Network, where you're just matched up with someone else in the company that you'd never really get to talk to. And that's been a really great way to hear just from other women in the business of how they've got to where they have in their career. That's been really inspiring for me.
Excellent.
Pretty similar. I'm engineering as well, so I've done the same things, the same lean-in circles and the women's network and all of that. We're not putting so much of a focus on, essential criteria, which women then read and get turned off and don't apply. Putting a lot of focus on bringing your whole self to work. I mean, the fact that we can all sit here and talk around our home lives as much as our work lives, bringing our authentic selves here. The fact that, we do have these great benefits now, like the flexible working that, encourage all genders to apply. And it isn't just about, the early stages of childhood. A lot of women end up caring for parents at the back end of their careers as well, end up caring for lots of family members throughout. And putting in place all the great things that exist, I think, have really supported not only me, but lots of my colleagues as well throughout the years, which is just astounding that a company of this size genuinely does seem to care. And it isn't about bringing numbers in for the sake of bringing numbers in. It's about bringing the right people in to make the right business sense.
So tell me, how have you been able to steer your career in terms of the direction you wanted to go in? Can you shed some light on that?
I would say earlier in my career, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be an engineer. I knew I wanted to design cool things, but I didn't really know about the different directions between what the difference was between being an engineering manager or a chief engineer or a general manager of a business area. So I just took each opportunity as it came along and just made sure that whatever the next opportunity it was felt difficult and felt slightly uncomfortable to me. And then probably only about 5 years ago, I identified a role and went, okay, yeah, that's the role I want. And at the time, that was the group engineering director role. And I was open about it. I went and spoke to the person who had the role at the time, spoke to their manager, went and said, okay, this is the role I want. I'm absolutely positive that's the direction I want to go. What are my gaps? What do I need to do to get there? Not only sort of got myself in their mind as terms of, okay, got Joe's name in their mind for if the role ever came up, but also made sure in the background I was working on what my gaps were. So I think my career has just been about working, doing stuff I enjoyed until I figured out exactly what I wanted to do and then going for it.
So that's very good to hear, because what you actually did was you took ownership of your career. You didn't give someone else the opportunity to dictate what your next role would be.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think there's always sort of people saying you should go this route or you should go this route. And from an engineering background, you do kind of sometimes get the snobbery around if you're not doing that very technical chief engineer route, then you're not really doing it. But there's so many different ways that you can succeed, and it's just about doing what makes you happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, well, I'm still quite early on in my career, I think, still being on the graduate scheme. So for me, it's really been just sort of taking those opportunities to see what's out there while still doing my role at the moment. I think the stretch projects have been really helpful for that, just to be able to see different parts of the business and the initiatives like the the coffee match-ups just to hear from other people, and I'll probably be giving Jo a call to hear more about her career path. But really just taking those opportunities to listen to people and how they've done stuff and really take inspiration from that. And one stretch project that I've done has been working with a local school to do a project there. And that's really helped me realise that I just love working with people and just sort of doing that STEM outreach. And that's something that I will definitely try and keep in my job role, and something that I'll still hope to be able to do as I look for my future career path.
I still do it now. I still go out to schools all the time and talk to kids about engineering and cool stuff and Girl Guides. And yeah, it's all cool stuff you can still do.
You're an inspiration to all of these young girls in schools, so continue to do that, please.
I think that's one of the things with being in school, sorry, just to touch on that. I think when I was at school, hearing like working in manufacturing as a team lead or transformation or even like a project manager, they're not really careers that are spoken about. There is obviously a push to go to university and go to college and things like that, but maybe when I was there, that the opportunity for an apprenticeship or anything like that wasn't really spoken about. So I do think that that is definitely one of the key things. But I do really enjoy what I'm doing. I'm hopefully gonna progress in that as well. But I am really enjoying the experiences that I'm having.
Excellent. So finally, what advice would you give to other women who are interested to join our industry?
So I can give you the real answer, which is bring a cardigan. Okay, I'm not even joking about that, because men have the office far too cold. And I'm not, it's crazy, but you will always need a cardigan.
Yeah.
But yeah, and in serious terms, just do it because it's so fun.
Thank you, Jo.
Yeah, and I think just be yourself. I mean, you're there, you've been hired for you, that you've been through the interview, if you've got the job, that just continue to be yourself, because that's why you're there. They've already seen something great in you. Keep using it.
Thank you, Megan.
I would say don't hold yourself back. I think a lot of women can sometimes be intimidated by the more male-dominated roles. And actually, that's just not the way that we work anymore. You can go and do it. You've got the experience, you've got the knowledge. Put yourself forward for it and don't hold yourself back. That's what I would say.
So hopefully this session has given you some insights into our work and what life at BAE Systems is really like, as well as the breadth of opportunities and the support you could expect if you choose to join us. And if you like what you hear, there's loads of more information about our opportunities and links on where to apply on our career pages. The web address will be at the end of this film. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye for now.